end, she gave up. She said, well, what is this? He's not taking all the clues I'm throwing for him. What is this? Maybe he doesn't get it, so I have to be very abrupt with him. So she locked the doors. They say in the Tafsir, there were 7 doors in the palace. So she locked all the doors. And she said, يعني ما قال شيء غلقت. She doesn't lock the doors, she locked them firmly. She made sure that no one is coming. Like there are some people, they have like 10 locks on the door. Tick, 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 and the thing. Because they are afraid. And eventually the thief will come from the window. Okay? Wallahu ghalibun ala amri. Sah? And she said, Hayta laka. Come to me. Okay. She was very subjective, she was very revealing in the way she was dressed. Now in her words, she is very abrupt. I want you, I'm ready, come to me. Okay? Imam Ibn al-Qayyim describes this situation. She said, if a woman that you go to work with, or your colleague at school invites you to do something haram, if you say no, well, in this case you are a hero. وَرَجُلٌ دَعَتْهُ امْرَأَةٌ ذَاتَ مَنْصِبٍ وَجَمَالٍ or something. She tries to seduce you. She said, come, let's have a good time together and all that stuff. If you refuse, then you are from Ibadur Rahman, the people who don't make zina, right? Commit adultery. But he said the situation of Yusuf alayhi salam, it is not like an acquaintance. He gives 13 different reasons why Yusuf alayhi salam did a fantastic job, refusing to do something haram. He said, number 1, the lady was beautiful, right? They say she was very beautiful. And number 2, she had authority over him. She was not asking him kindly. She was giving him an order, like you have to do it, like, I'm your boss, you have to do it. وَإِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ وَلَإِن لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا آمُرُهُ. At the end of the story, she said, if he doesn't do what I command him to do, like she's commanding, because he is working for me, he's living in my house, I'm feeding him, right? So he has to do it. Her authority. And number 3, his youth and beauty. There are so many hadith about how beautiful he was and all these things. And sometimes, when you see yourself beautiful, you say, I deserve to do this because I look good, right? But if you don't look as good, you say, Alhamdulillah, Allah protected us from this fitna, right? So, if someone has these qualifications, he looks good, the eyes, the hair, whatever, the height, I deserve this, I will do it, inshallah. And it wouldn't be a problem because, I just look at the girl and she will follow me, right? Because the way I look. His youth and his beauty. They say that Yusuf alayhi salam had half of the beauty of humanity. Allahu a'lam, it can be an exaggeration, we don't know. We never saw him, but he was very beautiful. And he was a youth. And you have this instinct to be with someone, right? This is the human nature, right? And number 4, he says he was a stranger. Like say for example, you live here in St. Catherine's, your family is here, your friends are here. If you walk in the street, if you date a girl, you walk in the street, maybe the imam will see you, maybe your dad will see you and he will give you a nice beating when you go home. Maybe your mom, maybe your sister, maybe someone you know and he will report to your mom, right? But if you are a stranger, you are in Vancouver, you are in a different country, no one knows you there. So you can do whatever you want, right? This is why a lot of brothers, they have like a master's degree. They go somewhere to a different country, they can't find a job. Oh, let me go to this, to Tim Hortons, man, I'm gonna wash the dishes. Because nobody knows me here, right? And some people in their countries, because they know that the culture is against it, so when they come here for a scholarship, they come to study. I know so many cases, nobody knows me here, I can do whatever I want. They never come to the masjid. Like we have literally hundreds of students in this country, actually in this city, from different countries. Most of them are from conservative countries. There they have to go to the masjid 5 salawat, right? They have to dress in a certain way, they have to live decently. But as soon as they come here, not even as soon as they come here from the plane, they take off, they do whatever, right? Because they know that no one sees them here except Allah. So now they do whatever they want. So he was a stranger. If he did anything, nobody would have known, right? Especially his family, because they were in a distant place. Number 5, she was willing, right? As we said, she was busting all the moves, so she was willing. Usually, if you are a youth, you are interested in a girl, can I buy you coffee? Can you talk to me? You got beautiful eyes. Are you on Facebook? You know. So you are offering. But in her case, she was the one who was offering, right? You can't get any better than this, right? What is this? You know, you don't have to do anything. MashaAllah, she is ready, man. You talk to a girl, you look beautiful, she slaps you in the face. This is not my lucky day. But she was willing, not only willing, she was offering herself. And she was doing all the moves, as they say in the Tafsir, maybe the quality of the clothes, you know, how the women do sometimes, you know, revealing clothes, inviting clothes, the way they talk and all these things, you know. Hasta la vista, baby, all that stuff, you know. And she was insisting, because it says in the ayah, وَرَاوَدَتْهُ. You don't make murawada for someone if you invite him to do something once or twice. It must have been 15, 20 times, every day. Like she was bugging him, day and night. Rawadatu. And number 8, she threatened him. وَلَئِمْ لَمْ يَفْعَلْ مَا آمُرُهُ لَيَسْجَنَنَّ وَلَيَكُونَ مِنَ الصَّغْرِ. If he doesn't do what I'm commanding him to do, he is going to jail. And he will be humiliated, disgraced. I'm gonna humiliate him in front of everyone. So 2 threats. And number 9, if he committed something haram with her, no one would have known, no one would have doubted him. Why? Because he was living with her in the same house, under the same roof. Right? He was in the house. Tamam? They asked this lady who was brought for zina with her slave, like he was in the house with her. They said, يعني أخزاك الله, يعني ما كنتيش حتى يعني زنيتي برجل حر. Why didn't you make zina with a free man? It would have, we would have been more respectful of you if you made zina with a free man. Why you're a slave? She said, he was with me in the house all the time, right? So I felt this closeness because he was there. And no one would have doubted because he was already in the house. But if they see a free man from outside, they're going to start asking questions. What is he doing in the house? So they will know. So this is what happened with Yusuf alayhi salam. He was there all the time. So no one would have doubted if they saw him inside the house. Or maybe he was laughing or sitting with the lady. They are having a light moment. Oh, he's her son. Because she adopted him, right? Nobody will doubt anything, right? Khalas. Number, 10. Her husband was very lenient. Like at the end of the story, she was crying. There's a crime here. It's either him or her, Yusuf, or the lady who did something wrong. Tried to attack the lady, harass her, or she was, whatever. And he said, okay, Yusuf أعرض عن هذا واستغفري لذنبك إنك كنت من الخاطئين. Like, oh Yusuf, don't talk about it, don't mention it, man. Don't talk about this, man. It's okay, man. Nothing happened, man. Like this. واستغفري لذنبك. Say sorry إنك كنت من الخاطئين because you are at fault. That's it. Like, no chairs flying, no shooting, like nothing happened. Like, he's okay. Like, it's cool, man. Like, nothing happened, man. What is this? What kind of man is this, right? He was a lenient man. Locking the doors. as we said, she was so insistent, she was locking all the doors, so, I mean, she was very insistent, she was into it. Also, this is number 12, the women that she invited for the banquet, she told him the same thing. You know, you're in her house, she is feeding you, she has authority over you. You have to listen to her. Listen to her, please, you know. قال ربي وإلا تصرف عني كيدهن. It says at the end of the story of the banquet, oh Allah, if you don't keep their cunning away from me, maybe I will do something haram. So they say in the tafsir why he said this, although the lady was trying to seduce him, he said, if you don't keep their cunning away from me, they say because they told him, أطع مولاتك أو أطع سيدتك. Obey her, listen to her. Whatever she asking for, do it. خلاص. So he was pressured by the ladies. So this is why Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said, well, Yusuf alayhi salam was a great man. Because of all these pressures, all of these things around him, he still refused. So he said, when he refused to do it, قال معاذ الله. This is the first reason. I won't do it because of Allah. This is number one, because he was afraid of the punishment. And number two, إِنَّهُ رَبِّي أَحْسَنَ مَثْوَاي. You can call someone Rabb. Rabb is like the maintainer, he's the provider. Like your dad is called Rabbul Bayt. The mother is called Rabbatul Bayt. Like she is the guardian, she is taking care of things. So the word Rabb in this case means a guardian or someone who's taking care of something. أحسن مثواي. How can I betray the man who has been nice to me? Ingratitude. So the first one is the punishment of Allah. The second reason is because of his master. How can I do something like this? And number three, إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الظَّالِمُونَ. The wrongdoers, the people who do something haram, will never succeed. Right? And they say if someone does something wrong with a single lady, this is not as terrible in the sight of Allah than someone who does something haram with a lady who is already married. Because you violated the lady and you violated the right of her husband. Right? And also, maybe if things work in a certain way, maybe you can end up marrying this single lady. If both make tawbah, they say in fiqh there is nothing haram if they get married. But if someone makes zina with a lady who is already married, I mean there's no solution for this problem. You can't get married to the lady, right? So it's haram in all counts. In the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he talks about the seven who would be in the shade of Allah on the Day of Judgment, and one of them, the person who says, if a woman who is wealthy, she's in a certain position, authority, she invites the person to do something haram, and he says, Ma'ad Allah, inni akhaf Allah. He says, I'm afraid of Allah, I'm afraid of the punishment of Allah. Sometimes you feel like this is difficult to happen in our daily lives. About a month ago, I was invited to the house of one of the brothers in the community. He says he travels a lot, and one time his son went for a trip to Europe, an educational trip. He has some friends with him, like boys and girls. So of course, in the hotel, he stayed in a room by himself. The others, the boys and the girls, they were together, right? So one of them came to this brother. He's a Muslim brother. I know him. He's a very good brother. I'm not going to mention his name. So he said one girl that he knew, she used to go to school with him. He said he came to him at night. She knocked on the door. He didn't look at the thing. He just opened the door and she was there. He said she pushed him inside and she locked the door. And she said, okay, why is everyone after me in the group and you are the most handsome one? MashaAllah, he's handsome. He's taller than me, more handsome, MashaAllah, he's, whatever. So he said, everyone is after me except for you. What is this? What's wrong with you? You want to see a doctor? What's wrong with you? He said, I'm a Muslim and in Islam I'm not allowed to do something like this. So she said, what do you want to do? He said, I'm not allowed to be with someone until or unless I'm married to them. Okay, she said, okay, let's get married. He said, no, you are not the right person for me, and he kicked her out. He said, leave. So he said after this happened, he started to cry, and he called his dad, and he said, when this happened to me, I remembered when she was talking to me, I saw Yusuf alayhi salam in front of me, because it's exactly the same story, right? She locked the door, she pushed him, and all these things. So it can happen. Sometimes it is difficult because shaitan is there, the nafs is there, and all these things. And one of the things that I didn't put here is something is very interesting. We call it stress. Every one of us, if you're a student, if you go to work, if you left your country or on visa and working here, there will always be stress in your life. No matter how comfortable and no matter how, you have luxuries in life, you'll always have this stress in your life. Every single one of us needs release. Release, right? So, what do people look for release? Some people do drugs. Some people run after women or men. Some people drink. There has to be a release. The best release for youth, from my personal experience, is sports. So this is why if someone says my children, they don't listen to us, or they are away from Islam, I tell them, number one, they have stress in their life. They look around, they see their friends doing stuff. They have a lot of stress in their life, they need release. The best way is sports. We play soccer Saturdays. You can, if it's a girl, send her for swimming or basketball Saturdays, right? You have to find release for the stress in your life. This is the normal way. It's perfectly natural. Every single one of us, we have stress in our life. So you have to find the right release. العلماء بيقولوا النفس البشرية إذا لم تشغلها بالحق انشغلت بالباطل. The human self, if you don't busy yourself with good, it will busy itself with evil. So you have to keep yourself busy. And they say the wolf always attacks the lonely sheep. If you are sitting by yourself, you shut your room and you sit and you think for yourself and you're not talking to anyone, shaitan will jump over you. But if you're talking to people, you are out, you are busy with people, shaitan will keep you away. Will keep away from you. طبعا, the Prophet ﷺ says in the hadith, if a man and a woman, they sit by themselves, shaitan will make a third of them. This is an authentic hadith, right? It doesn't matter how righteous you are. Kabir al-Hujjaj, you made Hajj 10 times, she is Hafiz Quran, it doesn't matter. Well, shaitan is not going to look at your credentials. He doesn't care, right? A man, a woman, shaitan will make a third. And in about 9 months, you will be 4, because there is a boy, or a girl, or maybe you'll be 5 if you have twins. This is how it works with shaitan, right? This is how it works. So, sitting together in khalwa is not recommended in Islam. Some people, when they get engaged, now we are engaged, we can do whatever we want. We can go out, we can go to the movies, we can sit together by ourselves, nobody is there. Yes?
Yeah, there's something about this. I've seen people, and you know why I'm asking for this. I've seen people where they'll be on their phone 24/7, like, who are you talking to? Like, something, oh, it's my fiance, whatever. I'm like, wait, did you marry, whatever? They're like, no, it's just my parents know. I told my mom about this person, so now I'm talking to them back and forth.
Yeah.
And they're doing the same action even before that, right? So is that permissible or no? Just because the mom and dad know, does this still make it okay?
Well, the word khutuba, this is a promise to consider marrying someone in the future. This is not marriage. If 2 people are engaged, the guy dies in an accident or something, does she have to do iddah for him? The 4 months and 10 days? The answer is no. If he dies, does she inherit from him? The answer is no. But if someone gets married to someone, even by signing the contract, by saying I do's, even without the consummation of the marriage, if the person dies before the consummation, she will do the 4 months and 10 days. Khalas. If he dies 5 minutes after signing the contract, heart attack, boom, they die, she will inherit from him. She will get her share of inheritance. Zawja, right? This is in fiqh. So signing the contract, even without consummation, it gives the husband and the wife rights on each other. If she dies after signing the contract, he will inherit from her. Right? And so on and so forth. But engagement, it doesn't give you any rights. Like you're not allowed to touch the lady. You have no rights. Inheritance, iddah, nothing. Right? It's a promise to get married in the future. So they cannot sit by themselves in a room and they lock the door and all that stuff because there's no relationship, right? They can't break up and she can marry someone else, no obligations whatsoever, right? So in this case, if they want to talk, it has to be under the supervision of someone else. It doesn't have to be the father or the mother or the brother. It can be even a طفل مميز. A kid who is like 6-7 years old, he knows what is going on. And this is what happens if your dad or your mom, they are busy, they will put your brother or sister and all they have to promise him is just a bar of candy. And he will report like the FBI. Like he looked at her, he held her hand, 5:30, this is what he said. They will give a full report. You don't have to worry about anything, right? So this is not a relationship. So you don't take advantage of the engagement. And as I say, once you make sure that this is the right person for you, you study them, you make istikhara, you ask about them, the background check as most cultures do, then khalas, there is no reason to delay in 5 years and 7 years. Yes?
Yeah, because I've seen people who've gone through the whole process like a day before the marriage and then they didn't work out. And the girl ended up talking with the guy for like a year straight. And then it's just a day before the marriage, didn't work out, heartbreak, and the girl's miserable. The guy's miserable.
Things happen. And I gave this story before, wallahi, after khalas, they sign the contract, everything, they disagree on the wedding party. Who is gonna buy what? Or they disagree, they agree, we are going to buy gold, he's gonna buy her a bracelet, and a necklace. Alhamdulillah, no problem. They sign the contract, everything. They go to the store. We wanted to buy a necklace. They want 15 grams. No, we thought you were going to get 50. So they agree on what they are going to buy, but they disagree on the weight of the thing. Or they disagree on how much everyone is going to pay for the wedding party. And there is a divorce. There's something interesting about women and men's relationship in the Quran. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about theft, sariqa, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, it says, وَالسَّارِقُ وَالسَّارِقَةُ فَاقْطَعُوا أَيْدِيَهُمَا. The male and female thieves, give them this punishment. Surah Al-Ma'idah. But in Surah Al-Nur, when he talks about zina, it says, الزانية والزاني. The female and male fornicators, give them this punishment. So why did Allah start with the males in theft and the females in fornication? They say because most of the time in fornication, it's even if the man is approaching, it is the woman who allows him to. So if she is willing, he will be able to do it. If he's not willing, he will never be able to do it. If he forces her, this will be rape, and he will be punished. There's nothing on her. But most of the time, the signal comes from the lady. He will see something, he will hear something inviting, and this is why he will go for it. Just like you see in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. Usually it is the way the lady speaks. She tries to be more effeminate, the tone of her speech. حتى في سورة الأحزاب Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling the wives of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم فَلَا تَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ. Don't be too effeminate when you talk to men, because the person in whose heart there is sickness, nifaq, will be attracted, right? Or in the way the person dresses, like the ladies, the way they dress. They say that sometimes when ladies wear revealing clothes, most of the time they are desperate because no one is taking care of them, because this is the human nature. You like to be with someone to care for you emotionally and stuff. So when you see the tight clothes and whatever and the cleavage and stuff, this is why, because they're trying to attract attention, right? They want to be with someone. They do it for attention, right? So this is why the signal comes from the ladies, not necessarily from the men, right? I'll show you a video to show you that the quality of the clothes the person is wearing will determine the reaction from the men. We'll take a look, then we'll continue, inshallah. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's me, Kareem from Are We Famous Now? You might have all seen a video of a woman walking for 10 hours in NYC while getting harassed. Well, I thought I'd do a different version. And in this version, we're going to have my friend walk for 5 hours in casual clothing and walk another 5 hours in hijab, which is the Muslim garb. We're going to see how both compare, and we're going to see the responses she gets. Let's check it out.
Now with the hijab. The same woman. So she did 5 hours in normal clothes like jeans and whatever. And you heard the comments. Then 5 hours in full hijab like this, and nobody said anything. 5 hours, not even a comment. And my understanding, this lady is not Muslim.